This morning, the 14-year-old Muslim student arrested for bringing a homemade clock to school in Texas remains at home on suspension. Mohamed's suspension is in effect until tomorrow, even after Irving police acknowledged they mistakenly thought his clock was a hoax bomb. But as support pours in from around the world, Ahmed now says he's hoping to transfer to a different school. Last night, he spoke with my colleague, Chris Hayes, on All In. And Ahmed described what happened when he brought that clock to MacArthur High School Monday morning, hoping to impress his teachers.
What were you expecting the reaction to be when you brought in this clock you'd put together in your room?
I thought they'd be impressed by it.
Did you show it to a teacher first?
Yes, I showed it to 2 teachers.
And what did those teachers say when you showed them your clock?
The first teacher, he was impressed, but he advised me not to show any other people.
He told you not to show any other people?
Yes.
Why do you think he said that?
He told me it looks like a bomb.
Ahmed says he later showed it to another teacher who confiscated it. He was eventually pulled out of class, searched, and interrogated, during which he says he was not allowed to even call his parents. Officers then placed him in handcuffs and took him into custody.
I felt like I was a criminal. I felt like I was a terrorist. I felt like all the names I was called.
What do you mean all the names you were called?
I was called, in middle school I was called a terrorist, called a bomb maker, just because of my race and religion.
And were the officers saying things like that to you?
One of the officers did comment on me walking in the room.
What did he say?
He got back in the reclined chair and he relaxed and he was like, and he said, "That's who I thought it was."
Irving's police chief announced yesterday no charges would be filed against that young man. The city's mayor is defending the actions of the officers and school administrators, and a spokesperson for the school district said in a statement details reported about the incident were, quote, unbalanced, but could not comment further due to privacy laws. So far, more than 1 million people have taken to social media in support of Ahmed. That includes President Obama, Hillary Clinton, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg, along with NASA and a number of astronauts. And joining me now, Ibrahim Cooper, National Communications Director with CAIR, the Council on American-Islamic Relations. Ibrahim, thank you so much for joining us again here.
Thanks for having me.
Obviously, we're waiting for more details if the school will release any information. But at this point, this young man is still suspended. It's one more day of the suspension. He wants to transfer to a different school here. But this really struck a nerve. I was watching social media and just the number of tweets that came in. What is it about this? Obviously, he was innocent, but what is it about it? So many other people are innocent, and folks don't rally behind them like they did with this young man.
Well, all you have to do is look at him. He's a really good kid, obviously smart, wants to show people what he can do to impress them, and proud of his work and proud of his inventions and his working with electronics and these kinds of things. So I think that struck a chord with people, and just the clear understanding that this would not have happened to somebody who wasn't named Mohamed, who didn't have a brown skin, who wasn't of Sudanese heritage. I mean, we just, at a gut level, understand that that would not have occurred the way it occurred if the circumstances or if his background had been different.
It's interesting. Google invited him to their science fair. Twitter's offered him an internship. President Obama, in a tweet, said, "Cool clock, Ahmed. Want to bring it to the White House." Mark Zuckerberg posted, "Having the skill and ambition to build something cool should lead to applause, not arrest." NASA, which, of course, he was wearing a NASA T-shirt. I don't think you could pry that thing off of him at this point. They said, "We're supporters of #STEM, inspiring kids like Ahmed to pursue their dreams to get involved."
Well, yeah, that was a concern we had, that this incident could taint his future. somehow it would follow him through life. But I think it's just the opposite now, that this very negative incident can be turned into a very positive, empowering thing for the rest of his life that may help him succeed in life.
Well, a darker part of this story also is the mayor of Irving, Texas here. The mayor posted a statement saying that I do not fault the school or the police for looking into what they saw as a potential threat. But it was earlier this year that this same mayor at a conservative campaign event, apparently against Sharia law in Irving, Texas, warned of a creeping Muslim takeover of Texas.
Exactly.
Appearing on Glenn Beck's show, let me play what happened there.
Yeah, okay.
So what do you want people to do?
I think you need to put your foot down and say, this is America. We have laws here already.
Your response to that?
Yeah, I think it's so clear that this incident is just a symptom of the growing Islamophobia in America, as evidenced by this kind of bizarre conspiracy theory that somehow Muslims are trying to take over the country and institute, quote, Sharia law and get rid of the Constitution. In fact, we are the prime defenders of the Constitution against those who would deny us constitutional rights. So it's just very bizarre that it would happen in this town with this mayor. We've seen other incidents around Texas. Just this morning, I had to issue a news release calling on the FBI to investigate hate vandalism at a mosque in Louisville, Kentucky. So these things are occurring on a daily basis, and that's why we're asking our nation's leaders to push back against this rising tide of Islamophobia.
Speaking of our nation's leaders, it came up in the pre-debate. I don't even know what they call him. The debate last night, not the main stage, but the earlier debate. Let me play what an exchange with Bobby Jindal and Lindsey Graham over religious discrimination. Let's play. Okay. I guess we don't have it, but Bobby Jindal was saying that he doesn't think that a 14-year-old should be arrested for bringing a clock to school, but he said the biggest discrimination is against Christians who believe in traditional forms of marriage. Lindsey Graham said young men from the Middle East are different from Kim Davis, and we've got to understand that.
I mean, this is the same Bobby Jindal who said there were Muslim no-go zones in America and was as mocked because of this bizarre notion. So, unfortunately, the Islamophobia is coming mainly from the right end of the political spectrum, and that's an issue that the GOP needs to deal with, but all our nation's leaders need to deal with it.
All right, thank you so much for your time. We greatly appreciate it.